This week in AI, I don't know about you, but it feels like drinking from a fire hose. It's one thing to see AI making cool images or, text, but have you noticed how it's starting to actually do things? Like actually taking actions? I mean, in the digital world, but maybe even beyond. So buckle up because on this deep dive, we're going to break down why this whole shift towards active AI is a bigger deal than you might think.
Yeah, you're right. It's not just the volume of new AI stuff. It's the whole nature of it that's significant. What we're seeing is the emergence of AI agents, which you could think of as pieces of software that can perceive their environment,
Yeah.
make decisions and then take actions based on those decisions.
Okay, I think I get the concept, but can you give me an example? What does that actually look like?
So let's look at Anthropic's Claude. I mean, it's a pretty impressive chatbot, right? But now it can actually control aspects of your computer.
Wait, really? So we're talking more than just chat. Like, it
Right.
can actually click buttons and move around my screen?
Exactly. Think about filling out a complicated online form or trying to update a massive spreadsheet. Those are the kinds of tasks Claude can now handle for you. It works by taking a screenshot of your desktop so it can see the context and then uses your instructions to act, you know, by controlling your mouse and keyboard. And then it just repeats that cycle of see, act, repeat to complete the tasks.
So it's like having a digital assistant who can actually do things, not just remind me about them.
Is this really a big leap, though? We've had basic task automation for a while, right?
This is different. This is a huge step towards true agency in AI.
Yeah.
Previous automation tools were very rigid, like rule-based,
Mm.
you know?
But Claude demonstrates a more flexible and adaptive intelligence that can handle these complex real-world scenarios. It's starting to look a lot less like a program and more like a helpful colleague.
Wow, that makes sense. And I guess that's why everyone's been buzzing about this whole AI agent thing. It feels like we're on the verge of something big.
Yeah, and Anthropic isn't the only one. They've been busy for sure, rolling out Claude 3.5, which supposedly beats even GPT-4 on certain tasks. And they've added new tools for analyzing data and generating code directly within Claude.
It sounds like they're going all in on this agent concept. But are businesses actually using this stuff? Or is it still mostly hype?
Oh, it's definitely being put into practice. Look at Microsoft. They recently announced autonomous agent capabilities within their Copilot Studio, which is a platform for building AI-powered applications.
So, hold on. What are these autonomous agent capabilities? What can they do?
Well, in simple terms, it means that businesses can now build AI agents that can trigger actions based on real-time events and adapt their plans on the fly. Essentially automate entire workflows. Like imagine an AI agent that constantly monitors your sales data and automatically generates reports and even adjusts your marketing campaigns based on how they're performing.
Okay, now we're talking. That's way beyond just filling out forms. So you're saying businesses are building AI that can make decisions and take action without any human intervention?
Precisely. And this is where it gets really interesting. We're entering a world where AI can potentially handle significant parts of our jobs. And not just the tedious bits. What do you think, listener? Can you imagine an AI taking over some of your daily tasks?
Whoa, that's a pretty big question to ponder. It's amazing and a little intimidating all at the same time. But before we go down that rabbit hole, let's shift gears to another area where AI is becoming incredibly powerful: video.
It's fascinating how these AI tools are giving us the ability to do things that were once only possible for big studios or tech companies.
Right.
Remember when creating high quality video was this specialized skill? You needed expensive equipment and software.
Yeah, that's true. I remember trying to make simple animations back in college. It was such a headache. Now it seems like anyone can be a Spielberg with the right AI tools.
Exactly. Take Runway's new Act 1 tool. It allows you to control a cartoon character's facial expressions and emotions by just using your own face. It
Yep.
analyzes your movements and then translates them into the animation, creating this surprisingly realistic and nuanced performance.
Oh, I saw some demos of that, and it is pretty mind-blowing. It's like motion capture technology, but you don't need all the fancy suits and sensors. What are some of the potential implications of this kind of tech becoming widely available?
The possibilities are really exciting. Think about animators and content creators. They can now produce high-quality work much faster and more affordably. We could even see a surge in independent animation studios as the barriers to entry get lower. And don't forget about virtual avatars. Imagine interacting with avatars that look and move just like real people.
It's incredible to think about how these tools are blurring the lines between reality and the digital world.
Yeah.
And it's not just Runway making waves in the AI video space, right? What are some other tools that have caught your eye?
Oh, there's a whole ecosystem of AI video tools popping up. You've got Gemmo, which uses text prompts to generate animations, and Hyper 2.0, which focuses on creating realistic videos from still images. And then there's Mochi One, which is particularly intriguing because it's open source.
Okay. I'm always interested in open source projects. For those who might not be familiar, can you explain what that means and why it matters?
Sure, open source means that the underlying code of the software is freely available for anyone to use, modify, and distribute. In the case of Mochi One, it means that anyone with the right skills can contribute to its development, which can lead to much faster innovation. It also means that the tool is more accessible and affordable, which could democratize video creation even further.
So you've got these user-friendly commercial tools like Runway on one end of the spectrum, and then you've got these powerful open source projects like Mochi One on the other. It's fascinating to see how those different approaches are shaping the landscape of AI video generation.
And it raises some interesting questions. For instance, what happens when creating convincing video content becomes as easy as writing an email? Could this lead to a flood of misinformation or even deepfakes that are difficult to detect?
Those are definitely valid concerns, but on the flip side, couldn't this also empower individuals and small businesses to create amazing content that they never could have before?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the beauty and the challenge of this technology. It has the potential to be incredibly powerful and transformative, but it also comes with risks that we need to be mindful of.
It's a lot to consider. And it's not just video. Getting all the AI love image generation is also undergoing a massive transformation. It's no longer just about creating pretty pictures. It's about AI becoming a more interactive and functional part of the creative process.
It's true. We're seeing a shift from AI as a passive tool to AI as a collaborative partner,
Yeah.
helping us explore new ideas and push the boundaries of what's possible visually.
A perfect example of this is Stable Diffusion 3.5. Remember how there were concerns about the previous version generating anatomically incorrect images? Well, they've really stepped up their game and addressed those issues, and now it's even available for free commercial use. It also comes in two versions: Large, which is for higher resolution images, and Turbo, if you want faster results.
And the fact that Stable Diffusion is open source has played a huge role in its rapid development. It's a perfect example of how the power of AI is shifting from big tech companies to the hands of individuals and communities. Anyone can now contribute to its evolution and explore its potential.
And speaking of exploring potential, Ideogram has been on a roll lately. They've introduced these incredibly cool features like Canvas, Magic Fill, and Extend, which take image generation to a whole new level.
These features are game changers. They allow users to not just create single images, but to build and modify images iteratively. It's like having a conversation with the AI where you can experiment and refine your vision until you get exactly what you want.
I love that analogy. It really captures the feeling of these new tools. Can you give an example of how this iterative process might work?
Let's say you start by generating a simple image of a wolf howling at the moon. With Extend, you could expand the image outwards, adding a lush forest in the background. Then using Magic Fill, you could seamlessly add a UFO hovering above the trees. It's like having a magic paintbrush that can bring your wildest ideas to life.
Those features sound almost identical to Photoshop's new generative fill, but what sets Ideogram apart?
What's really interesting is that Ideogram isn't just a standalone tool. They're building a whole ecosystem around this interactive image generation concept. They even have a remix feature where you can take existing images and create variations based on them. Imagine taking your family photo and transforming it into a surreal landscape or an epic fantasy scene.
I love that idea. It's like giving anyone the power to be a digital artist. And it's not just Ideogram. Midjourney has also jumped on the bandwagon, adding features that let you upload and retext your images using AI. What I find most exciting about all of this is the ability to use your own images as a starting point for AI generation.
It's a beautiful example of how AI can augment human creativity, not replace it. We're not just talking about AI generating content from scratch. We're talking about AI becoming a tool for collaboration and co-creation. And as these tools become more accessible, we'll see even more incredible and unexpected uses emerge. Just think about how Canva, a platform used by millions of people, has started to integrate AI into its design tools. This shows how AI image generation is rapidly going mainstream, becoming an integral part of how we create and communicate visually.
And it feels like every week there's a new headline about AI,
Yeah.
achieving something we thought was years away. It's incredible to see this progress, but it can be a little overwhelming to keep up with.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Trying to follow all the developments in AI right now is
Yeah.
like trying to drink from a fire hose. But that's why we do these deep dives, to help you kind of filter out the noise and focus on the signals that truly matter.
Exactly. And even with our laser focus, we've only scratched the surface of what's been happening this week. There's so much more we could dive into.
Oh, there is. Like, for example, Google DeepMind just open sourced their text watermarking tool, which can help detect whether a piece of text was written by a human or by AI.
That's huge. That could be incredibly useful for combating misinformation and,
Yeah.
ensuring transparency.
Mhm.
Especially now that BI-generated content is becoming so sophisticated, it's hard to distinguish from human-written text.
Absolutely. And then there's Apple, which is rolling out its new Apple Intelligence platform. It's integrated with ChatGPT and features some pretty cool AI capabilities, like generating custom emojis based on your descriptions.
See, I told you we were just scratching the surface. There's AI happening everywhere we look. Even Qualcomm is getting in on the action with their new Snapdragon 8 Elite chips, which are designed to make running AI on mobile devices even smoother and more efficient.
It's mind-boggling how quickly AI is becoming integrated into every aspect of our lives, from the phones in our pockets to the creative tools we use on our computers. But amidst all these advancements, there's one development that I find particularly thought-provoking. Remember that humanoid robot torso we talked about earlier? The one with the incredibly realistic simulated muscles.
Oh, yeah. The one that looked like it came straight out of a sci-fi movie. It was fascinating and a little bit creepy.
Exactly, and that's the point.
Yeah.
That robot is like a tangible reminder that AI is no longer confined to the digital realm. It's starting to have a physical presence in the real world. And that raises some pretty profound questions.
I can see where you're going with this. We've been talking about AI agents that can control our computers and automate tasks. But what happens when AI can control physical objects and take actions in the real world? What are the ethical considerations and what are the potential consequences?
Those are questions we all need to be thinking about as AI continues to evolve. We're entering uncharted territory, and it's crucial to approach these developments with a sense of both wonder and caution.
Well said. This has been an incredible deep dive, but it feels like we're just at the beginning of the conversation. What's your final takeaway for our listeners as they try to navigate this rapidly changing world of AI?
I think the most important thing is to stay curious and informed.
Hmm.
Don't be afraid to explore these new AI tools and experiment with them. But at the same time, stay critical and ask questions. What are the potential benefits of these technologies? What are the risks? And how can we ensure that AI is developed and used in a way that benefits humanity as a whole?
Those are great points to end on. And as always, you can find links to all the tools and resources we discussed in the show notes. We'd love to hear your thoughts on what stood out to you and what questions are on your mind.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
Yeah.